You know what I'm doing, because as you can see, what am I? 3 minutes late? 3 minutes late, guys. It's Friday. Can you give me a break? I think you can. But I have to get my branched-chain amino acids. Denise! I'm going to be making some news announcements today in our group since I've been absent for 2 days. But there's a reason. It's all cool. Anyway, happy Friday, y'all. Denise, how are you? How's the weather where you are? It is a little bit warmer here, and it's going to be a little bit warmer this weekend. I think high of 50 today, high of 70 this weekend. It's the day after I wash my hair, and haven't really done anything with it yet, so bear with me. Anyway, happy Friday. I'm going to share a secret. You might have seen it if you guys follow me on Instagram. Something I shared yesterday, which hence is part of the theme of, it was 26. Doesn't it seem like, I was talking to my friend Kelly in Miami, and she said that their weather has been big zig. It seems like everywhere, all over the country, that the weather's just it's not as predictable as it used to be. It's kind of up and down all over the place. Like everyone's experiencing it. I remember my mom was calling me and saying that one day in Chicago it was like 70 when it had gotten down to 30 here. And then I'll talk to people in Florida and they're like, oh, it's 30 and then it's going to be 80 tomorrow. It just seems like there's these extreme flows lately. Jean, what's the weather like where you are? Dare I ask? What's it like today? Denise has got 26 degrees. Global warming, yeah, I think so. God, I love this stuff. Also, I would really like to have one morning or one day, I'm getting there. See my snowman towel from my mom, where I don't get to like noon and go, oh my God. Do you ever feel like that? Like you just kind of need a day that it's not the weekend, but it can be like a pause day where you just have like, you can pause and not rush. I'm kind of feeling like I'm always rushing. That's been my life for the past year, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot less rushing. But anyway, why am I doing today's topic? I always want to give you guys like a real chill Friday Facebook Live to give you something to think about as you head into the weekend. Excuse me. So yesterday we did 2 Facebook Lives. I don't know if you caught both of them, but we did our typical one at 10 in the morning, and then we did another one at 1 with our, hi Jessica, with a client sponsored, I can't talk today, client-sponsored Facebook Live. We did that with Centrum, which I will say, and I said it yesterday, I'm absolutely obsessed with these chewy multivitamins. If we could get all supplements and multivitamins to be chewy, and I don't even like gummy bears. Like the thought of buying some gummy bears and eating them does not appeal to me at all. It just makes me think of going to the dentist, needing to go to the dentist. But yeah, I love that you call them BC. That's awesome. But those chewable multivitamins, I'm going to say, are legit, and they make that part of my taking supplements every day. I take about 20 pills. They make that part quite enjoyable. So yesterday, I had my friend Sherry as my assistant helping me with my Facebook Live around 1 o'clock, and we went out to lunch before that, and I forget how it came up. We were talking about green tea, and I always love, how many of you guys like sushi? Okay, yes, it is Friday, definitely. I'm definitely getting to Fridays now, and for myriad reasons, because of changes that are going on in my life and my business life and my world, I'm finally like looking forward to Friday. Whereas before, work and life it's just a constant stream, everything blended, and there was no breaks. So I'm kind of getting back to that place where I actually know what a weekend is and what a life is. It's wonderful. But anyway, Sherry and I were at lunch, and we were at this great sushi place. Now, how many of you are sushi fans? Okay. If you're not, I want to hear if you love sushi, if you've never tried it, or if you hate it, in the comments, if you feel like being comfortable in sharing that. We were at the sushi place, and we were talking about the green tea, and I said, there's just something about green tea at a sushi place. I do not make tea at home. I'm not good at making tea. I never feel like it tastes the right way. But when I go to a sushi restaurant and I have green tea, I will drink like 7 pots of it. I don't know what they do. And particularly, I'm actually going to show you one of the green teas. Oh, it's way up high. I have to climb up on the counter, and I won't put you guys through that, but it's way up high. I actually asked at some of the sushi places. One of them in particular was up in Seattle, and I said, what is the brand of tea? It's like Genma Cha, Gen, and then another word, M-A, and then CHA, or there's something similar to Genma Cha. Anyway, it's really, really good. Real sushi, none of that avocado. That's right. You got to go hardcore if you're going sushi. So if you're like me, I wouldn't call myself a tea drinker. I'm a coffee girl, okay? In fact, I'm still loving my coffee from this morning. But I'm getting to a point, I promise. I'm bringing it all together. We're having this great green tea, and then she brings up matcha. Now, how many of you guys are familiar with matcha? Okay? This is embarrassing. I think this was on my Christmas wish list like a year and a half, maybe a year ago. And I got all this matcha stuff. And one of the things that I do like, a lot of the places when I've been at a sushi place and they serve green tea, some of them will say, oh, well, it's a green matcha tea. So they'll make like the Gen Matcha, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm sure I'm butchering it. But then they add matcha, and that makes it's bright green, and it's really yummy. So Denise, you're a matcha fan. You love it all. Okay, I can't wait. We're going to be starting to compare a lot of notes on this. Jen, see, I'm not alone. Jen, am I saying it right? I'm probably butchering it. It's probably like somebody will go, Kelly, it's Jean Mai Sha. You know, I'm sure it's something very fancy, and I'm saying it wrong. It has roasted rice in it. Yes, it's also, is it known as poor man's green tea? I think that stuff is legit. And it's funny because when I was home in Chicago for Christmas, I didn't know if my man friend liked sushi or not. And he's like, I think I can try it. So we went out, and we went out to the sushi restaurant. We were going to get takeout, but we ended up sitting down and we ordered green tea. And I'm like, oh, green tea at a sushi place is so awesome. And then we took our first sip, and I'm like, this green tea sucks. It was like water. It was very disappointing because I built up this huge anticipation on the green tea. Sushi was great. The green tea was awful. I'm surprised that it's called poor man's green tea, because to me, the Gen Mai Chai, whatever you call it. Oh, are you telling me how to say it? Gen Mai Cha. Gen like again. Okay, so Gen Mai Cha. Okay, Gen Mai Cha. I sound almost Japanese, not really at all. So just pretend. The rice is a filler. That is my favorite tea. So if you guys like the really good green tea at sushi restaurants, this is not the point. I'm going to get back to think like a kid. I'm tying it all together with the matcha. Get that Gen Mai. In fact, Jean, if you have a brand that you love, I'll put the one after this in the link, because I get it from Amazon. Part of me wants to climb up on the counter and show you what I love, but I get a big bag of it. And I think it's like $20 for a big bag. I don't know if that's expensive or not. What are you saying no to? No, don't climb on the counter? Or no, don't post it? Or, oh, and again, Gen Matcha. Is that? Welcome to Facebook Live, where we're teaching Kelly how to enunciate. Sorry. Jean, just say it on your Instagram later so I can practice it. Let me get back to the matcha, because you guys are probably tuning in like, okay, I'm checking out. And I don't blame you. So, look, if you're not familiar with matcha, just do some Googling. The health benefits of matcha are ridiculous. The amount of antioxidants and let's just say stuff that's good for you is ridiculous. So my friend Sherry, after we had our business lunch, and then she helped me as my assistant for the Facebook Live, because I had to make sure I stayed on track with some of the things that we were covering that day. So she was holding up my key, she was like my teleprompter, okay? I needed to have that help yesterday. So she came over here, and then we were talking about matcha, and she's like, oh, I don't drink coffee. And I was like, there was that long of a pause where I was considering if I should still be her friend, because I don't know about you, but I can't imagine not liking coffee. I'm like, did you really just say that? I mean, or is it just you don't like coffee this week? And she's like, I don't like it. I don't like the smell of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in the other room and think about this for a minute, and then I'll be back. Just kidding. I still love her. But she said what she makes every day is, she goes, I make a matcha. Yeah, I got scared, Jean, that I was pronouncing this wrong. She makes a matcha latte, and I'm like, matcha latte, what? And I knew when I looked up, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to get this back to Think Like a Kid, because the whole point of this is, when I looked up, I'm going to show you guys all the matcha stuff. Denise, you probably know this, right? So if you just look up the hashtag matcha on Instagram, you're going to see, like, look at all that amazing. Oh, hopefully it's not too bright. Look it up yourself. I didn't mean that in a mean way. There's all these matcha lattes, and they just look amazing. And so I asked Sherry to show me how to make it. It was so simple. You guys, I put it up on my Instagram yesterday. I'll just grab the video and put it here. All we did was we took unsweetened almond milk. Okay, I get the unsweetened almond milk that says it's unsweetened but vanilla. So it's 30 calories. There's both Silk makes this, and I also get Blue Diamond. They're interchangeable as far as I'm concerned, but I get the 30 calorie per serving one. So I take a whole cup of that almond milk, heat it up in the microwave. If you want to heat it on the stove because you're anti-microwave, have at it. We heat it up in the microwave. Then I put it in my NutriBullet. She added, she called it a generous half a teaspoon. So just a half a teaspoon of matcha. Let me see if I've opened this up. The envelope that we use is, can you guys see how, I don't want to spill it. Just a half a teaspoon. So if you're only going to use a half a teaspoon, you could use more. And then she uses, for a sweetener, she uses, and I'm going to order some and test it out. She uses a sweetener called Swerve. It's actually a sugar alcohol, erythritol. And for those of you that might be listening to me and going, oh, I heard sugar alcohols are bad for you, I'm going to encourage you again to go listen to our FitFluential Radio podcast. Quite a lot of the dietitians and nutritionists that I interviewed spoke to sugar alcohols. I got schooled. I also thought they were to be avoided, but the more that they talked about it, yes, some sugar alcohols like maltitol and whatever, in excess can cause a lot of bloating or stomach disturbances. As we always talk about, you're going to want to find out what works for you in anything, with whatever you eat, with sweeteners, with anything like that. But I was actually schooled because I thought maltitol, erythritol, all of those sugar alcohols were to be avoided. But several dietitians and nutritionists schooled me and said that they're actually, okay. So I'm going to try this Swerve sweetener just for the hell of it. I also use, and I'm a big fan of Now Foods stevia. Many of us in the FitFluential community are familiar with it. As far as stevia is concerned, we all agree, and we've tried several brands. It is the best tasting, non-bitter aftertaste stevia. That's what I've been using. That's what I use in my coffee. I am going to try the Swerve stuff, and I'll tell you guys about it later. But a cup of almond milk, throw it in the NutriBullet or in a blender, or if you want to use an immersion blender, you could do that. Cup of almond milk, a hefty half teaspoon of matcha, put your sweetener in, whatever it is you want to use. Heck, if you want to use your own coconut sugar, whatever it is you want to, you do it to taste, right? That's it. You blend it up, and it was a delicious, ridiculous, and in that case, because it's a cup, 30 calorie, antioxidant packed, ridiculous, yummy. For me, how many times you guys heard me talk about this week? I have that afternoon sweet tooth thing. To me, that's going to be my afternoon sweet tooth thing. Plus, matcha is so good for you. Why am I tying this, me discovering my almond matcha latte that I'm now going to make every single day, and you'll see me posting on Instagram like every single day now. How am I going to tie that back to Think Like a Kid? When I realized how cool that was to find out something new, and I've always, like, I've had matcha ice cream how many of you have had like the green tea ice cream at the end of a sushi meal at a restaurant? Or you've had, what's it called? What did they call that? They have it at Whole Foods too. They call it like mochi. Is that ice cream? MOCHI, I think. I see that all the time. It looks really good. It's always like pastel colors. When you start looking at things that you've never tried, like that look yummy to you, right? You see something in a bakery and you're like, ooh, that looks good. This is where I'm encouraging you all. Instead of, I've been trying to share here and privately and those with my followers, stop looking at getting fit and getting healthy like it's a life sentence, like it's a prescription, like it's all about, I got to cut out all the good stuff. I got to eat this crappy, gross stuff. I have to drink water. I can't have wine. That's the way people look at it. Instead, why don't you start thinking about the future and getting healthy and feeling better and looking better as like, I'm going to look at this like a kid. I'm going to get excited about all the different things I can try. Like matcha might surprise you. You might actually love it. And then you're drinking something healthy that tastes good and actually is sweet and can satisfy your sweet tooth. There's so much, and I guarantee you, most of the people that are here, most of the people that have been here all week, the people that are watching on the replay, if you search on Instagram, search for something like that, search the FitFluential hashtag, you are going to see a ridiculous amount of food that you don't have to be a kid to go, ooh, I want that. Ooh, that looks yummy. Oh my God, I want that. I mean, we're talking breakfast food, sweet food, savory food, pizzas, sandwiches, bagels, salads. I mean, everything. And there are ways to make things healthier, but not tasting like cardboard. So instead of looking at, hey, I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to take better care of my body, I'm going to take better care of my skin, like instead of looking at it like dread, start thinking like you did when you were a kid. Remember when you were a kid and your friends would come knock at the door and say, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to play this game. And you go, okay. You didn't know what it was. You didn't know how much it was going to tire you out. Why don't you start looking at your workouts or your activity like that and try something new? Remember we talked earlier this week about getting stuck in a rut? Why stay stuck in a rut? Stop thinking about all the things you think you don't like. I used to do that. I used to view CrossFit style training or CrossFit and I'd be like, I'm never going to do that. I don't want to do thrusters. That looks so dumb. I don't want to do nothing but squatting. Guess what most of my training is? I don't work at a CrossFit box, but the style of training that I do with Lane is all the kind of stuff that I thought I would hate. Wall balls, all that. I mean, I'm doing thrusters, I'm learning snatches, I'm doing kettlebell stuff, everything. I'm doing a lot less of what I used to do. And now I've started to look at things completely differently. About a year and a half ago, I went on a trip with a couple of other bloggers, 3 other bloggers, with Gorilla Glass. And we went four-wheeling, is that what they call it? Four-wheeling when you're on an ATV. And we went around the Grand Canyon, we went in the slot canyons, we went hiking. I always forget the name of the place we went hiking, but it's on my Facebook page. And suddenly, this girl, who was the least outdoorsy person on the planet, became somebody who wanted to go biking, who wanted to go on who said, I want my own ATV. I want to go climbing. I want to go hiking. I want to do all of that stuff because I stepped out of my comfort zone, because I allowed myself to try something. And too many of us, we don't do that. I can't tell you how many people I run into and they're like, yeah, I'm not that gym person. I'm not going to be a runner. I can't do yoga. I'm not flexible. Have you ever gone to a yoga class? Have you ever tried? Because guess what? The people that end up loving yoga, they all started not being able to touch their toes. People that go into yoga didn't start doing handstands and crow pose. Everybody has issues in yoga class. Everybody has issues with running. Everybody has issues with, half the people that are here, they've all had injuries. Dutch has been stitched up and ripped open and moved apart like more people than Gene has had surgeries. He's had issues. We all have. But it's not just about looking at your limitations from an injury perspective, but start looking at this is really cool. What else can I try? Instead of automatically sitting in your cubicle at work going, not going to do that. I don't like that. I don't like vegetables. I'm not even going to try it. People say that all the time. Why don't you think about, and I'm just as guilty of this, you guys. I always tell myself I really only like 3 vegetables and they upset my stomach. Well, guess what? I bought some zucchini and some summer squash the other day, and I remembered this dish that my sister-in-law made where she grilled a bunch of vegetables, and it was zucchini, summer squash, purple onions. I'm trying to think I think it was eggplant, bunch of vegetables grilled. And then she threw them in a big bowl with a lot of Parmesan cheese, garlic, salt, and pepper, olive oil, pasta. Yeah, pasta. And she mixed it all up. It was literally one of the most delicious things I've ever had. But because I don't normally think of that, and because I'm not getting creative, and I get in a food rut, keep eating the same things over and over again and going, so bored, I don't have anything to eat. Try thinking about stuff you've tried maybe at a restaurant and start branching out. If you think you don't like something, I mean, walk around the grocery store and just look at it like a kid and look at all the fruits and vegetables and go, I have no idea what that is. I'm going to take it home and try it. You might try a fruit or a vegetable and go, this is so gross. I'm never trying it again. You might try something and love it, just like I tried the matcha latte. Why would you not start looking at the world like you did when you were a kid? Like every day is an adventure, like food is an adventure, using your body is an adventure. You are not, I'm always going to keep saying this. I'm turning 49 in a couple of months. Is it a couple of months? Yeah. Do you think I feel like somebody who's, it's all downhill from here? I feel like I'm just starting. I can't wait to go out and explore the world and travel and hike and bike and climb and go everywhere and do things I've never thought. And I'm not going, oh, well, I'm not 20 anymore. Come on. Dutch said, if you focus on food that doesn't taste good, there's no way you'll stick to it. Exactly. So what did I say about Dutch? 11 surgeries, a broken back, and a pelvis. Yeah, I had that last week. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever broken any bones. I think the surgeries that I've had, I had appendicitis in the middle of my divorce. And I remember that because I was in the hospital and they were like, your husband canceled your health insurance. He was really sweet. We worked that out later. I'm about to turn 46 and I've got lots of life yet. Seriously, people, I don't even think, in some ways I feel like this is a big point to make. But then part of me, I hang out with people like Dutch all the time. I hang out with people that are, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, or whatever, and you don't even think wow, you're 60, or wow, you're 50, or what. But yeah, more often than not, when I tell somebody who I can tell doesn't live their life focused on being healthy, and when I tell them that I'm 48, like the guys that set up my Sleep Number bed. And I was flattered, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say I wasn't. When I said I'm 48, blah, 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 the guy goes, you're 48? And I'm like, yes. He was 22. And I'm like, I'm flattered, but it feels good to look good, but it feels pretty awesome to just, I remember when I was young, Dutch, did you think when you were in your 20s that you would feel and look and be looking forward like you are at age 46, the way that you are now? I don't think I expected, I didn't look forward in my life and think, oh, well, after 40, I'm going to be dead. But I certainly never thought, sometimes I have to clock myself and go, because a lot of people that have either worked for me or in our FitFluential community, they're in their 20s. A lot of people that have worked for me are like 25 to 30. And then I have my nieces, and they're, one of them, let's see, the youngest one is 21, she's 21. And sometimes it's like, we all hang out, we all have the same energy. I think I'm looking pretty fly, I can hang. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like my trainer is 30. I'm 18 years older than him. It doesn't feel that way. It's really cool. It's not the way it used to be, because we know we have so many more choices. We know so much more about fitness and nutrition and things like sleep and stress and the things we need to focus on, that we don't have to look like our grandparents did when we were growing up. When we were growing up, I'm trying to think, most of my grandparents sadly were dead by the time, that sounds very harsh, but they were. On my father's side of the family, my grandmother and my grandfather, but I believe I'm going to have to ask my dad. I think they were dead by the time, that sounds so harsh to say that. They had passed away by the time they were not even 70. My dad's 81, my mom's 78. Most people that meet my parents are like, your dad's 81? Like, they look great. And they're not into fitness the way I am, but I'm not looking ahead at like 50, 60, 70, 80. I'm just like, how fly am I going to look when I'm 80? Maybe it'll be a lot more Botox at that point. I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to act like I don't go there. I'm all about getting some work done when you want to. Hi, Dave Parsons. Hey, Dave, have you had any like crazy injuries or surgeries? We were talking today about, because you just joined us. Hey, Kelly, how are you? We're talking today. I'm going to wrap it up, believe it or not, before 35 minutes. I said yesterday that I had a friend over and she was telling me about how to make this matcha latte. And it was so easy and it was so simple and it was so, I hate this word, it was so tasty. It sounds so cheesy. It was really tasty, but it was, and now I have this cool new thing that is great as far as health benefits, antioxidants, it's wonderful for you. It's gonna satisfy my sweet tooth. It's low calorie. I can make 1 cup and have it be 30 calories with my almond milk. And I was encouraging everybody to stop looking at adding, making their diet better and getting more activity in their life and leading a healthier lifestyle, instead of looking at it like, what can I tell myself I have to do? I've kind of talked about this theme a lot. Look at the world like you did when you were a kid. Look at it like, there's a whole grocery store of amazing things that I can make. I just kind of got the cooking fever and the baking fever again. I realized there's a billion things I could be cooking and making and learning about and trying. And we just get in such a rut, and we think that there's like a world that's this big as far as what we can eat. And that, well, this is who I am and this is what I do. I could never do yoga. I could never run. I could never do this. And what I was saying earlier, Dave, is that everybody that started running probably sucked when they started running. I didn't know how to breathe. I got side stitch cramps all the time. I had to learn how to breathe. I had to learn how to run. I had to learn how to stretch and deal with my tight calves. Same thing with yoga. Everybody says, oh, I don't want to do yoga because I'm not flexible. Yoga is how you get flexible. And plus, everyone that starts yoga, that's not why they end up sticking with yoga. That's part of it. But it's so much more. And you'll learn so much more about your body. And I'm sure your better half, I'm just going to put this out there, will appreciate the fact that you do yoga. I'm just going to let that sit. I'm just going to put that out there. Tiffany, how are you? You've broken my left foot twice and had 3 tibial stress fractures over. See? I mean, there's like crazy stuff that happens, but you keep going and you bounce back. Look at life like an adventure, okay? Look, and kids, back to wrapping up, like, what do kids do? When kids go out and play, they fall down, they skin their knees, and they cry for a while, but then all they want to do is go back out and play. Instead of so many of us, we look at one setback and we're like, forget it, I'm done. Start looking at life with that sense of being a kid, of wonder, of like, this is so exciting. I've never tried Thai food. I'm going to try Thai food. You might hate Thai food. Try pho. Have you guys ever tried pho? I never even knew how you pronounced it. P-H-O? You might love it. And then you find something that you're like, I had no idea what those restaurants were that said P-H-O. And then you go try it. Maybe you meet somebody new. I mean, branch out of your boring, I'm in my comfort zone. This is what works. I don't like anything. I can't do that. Stop saying I can't. Start looking at things with like, this is an adventure. I'm going to try things. I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. I'm going to try matcha. I'm going to try tea. I'm going to try sushi. Go out and make your life an adventure. There's a series of books. I need to look these up again. Who is in my age range that remembers those books, Choose Your Own Adventure? Did anybody else read those books when you were little? Choose Your Own Adventure, Flexible is Sexy. That's a bumper sticker, Dutch. I'm addicted to these branched chain amino acids. Just for the hell of it, 2 things, because I just mentioned childhood books. We used to read these books called Choose Your Own Adventure when I was little. Did you? See, Dave, maybe it's a Columbus, Ohio thing. I think it was back when I was in 5th grade. And you would read the book and you would get to a certain page and it would say, if you choose to go here, turn to page this. And then the story would take you there. And if you choose to go here, go to page 8 and the story will take you there. It was so cool because your adventure could have all these different stories. One of my other favorite books was A Wrinkle in Time, which they're making a movie of, and I'm so excited. I was obsessed with that book when I was little, A Wrinkle in Time, and there's a couple of other ones, Harriet the Spy, of course, but I'm going off on a long tangent. But you see, I still read those books, when I'm a grown adult, I don't care. Harriet the Spy is awesome. I kind of felt like Harriet the Spy. Yes, and I love to read in general. I'm actually reading a really good book that my friend Danielle recommended. So anyway, I mean, look at what I just talked about in the example of books. How do you find out about great authors? You ask other people and you try new things and you branch out and suddenly you're like, wow, I like science fiction. Same thing with TV. You know, I never used to think, I was like, I'm not a science fiction person. And then guess what? I started watching Fringe and I started watching Dutch. I know you like Fringe. I started buying all those seasons and rewatching them. So many shows I could go on. Do you think 6 or 9 years ago, I would have said I would like X-Men? I love X-Men. And I have all these new friends that like X-Men and all the Marvel comics and all of that. Those are things I never used to like. And then I stepped out and started trying new things, and I actually have a better life because of it. So here's the deal, people. It's Friday. I encourage you, seriously, to start looking at new things you can try with a sense of adventure. Start thinking like a kid. Start thinking about, what can I try? Stop putting brackets on your fitness life, thinking it has to be a program, you know, thinking it has to be like a diet. It has to be clean this out. This is what I'm doing for 6 weeks and nothing else. Think about this as your life. There's better choices that you can be making. You're a lifer. You're making your life better. Start adding cooler things, adding more fun activity, instead of worrying about what you take away and punishing yourself and staying in your boring comfort zone. That's all I got to say. And I will put the recipe up, which it really is not a recipe, for my matcha right after I close this out. Ooh, go to BookBub. What is that? I've been on Goodreads, but I don't feel like they really help me find out new books. So I'm going to click on that afterwards because I love finding out about new books. I did throw out, we can use the hashtag, and there's so many of them. In fact, Reese Witherspoon has a really good book club that she's created. Like, she used to just post great books that she read, and then she started a hashtag. I think it's Reese Witherspoon Book Club. I don't think it's I used to think it was RWS Book Club. I think it's RW Book Club. Do the search for either one of those. She has a ton of good books. And then just within our own context, I just threw out like the FF Book Club. So when I share stuff, I'm putting that up there as well as the hashtag book club. So that's another good way to find other good books. But I'm going to check out Dutch's recommendation, BookBub. I like it. I am starting to make sure. I'd love to say I could read a book a week, but I'm back to reading before bed every night, and I really am kind of like a hot knife through butter with books, and I'm trying all different authors, and I really love it. So anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Lots of really big, exciting stuff, a lot of which I can't share quite yet, but big changes, big, awesome new things unfolding behind the scenes here in my life / within FitFluential. I'm so excited what's going to end up unfolding this year. A lot of this has been very unexpected very quickly early on, but I will be touching in with you guys. It's 10:37. Of course, I went overtime. Training with Blaine at 1 o'clock today. He's going to kick my butt. I'm about to have a great, wonderful weekend of adventure and trying new things with my awesome man friend. And we're probably, what was I going to say? I started cooking we started doing some cooking last week. So I told you guys I have the cooking fever, I have baking fever back. So I'll probably be sharing a lot more of my stuff. I'm trying to take after Lauren Fisher. You can follow her, Lauren Fisher Eats, on FitFluential. She puts up a ton of great recipes. I'm going to start copying after her. And all of them are like healthy, and many of them are paleo. There's no way you're going to look at her stuff and go, really? That looks gross. I promise you. So head on over there. I hope you guys have a really great weekend. I will be touching back here with you guys on Monday at 10 a.m. For those of you in our VIP group, I will be back today kind of updating you on what's been going down. It's been a really crazy week, but ultimately it's all very good. Just kind of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz feeling, but in a good way. So I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful weekend. You're all awesome. And everybody check out Dutch's link. I'll put up my recipe here in 2 seconds, okay?